What?
Oh,
That
disgusting.
was, yeah. They both answered oatmeal is one of their favorite foods.
Oatmeal's disgusting.
Welcome to hell. Devil's Advocate pits lawyer against lawyer in a battle royale to answer the age-old question, who's better at arguing? The rules of the game are, we spin the Wheel of Misfortune to decide on a topic. Once a topic has been selected, the advocates must answer a set of polarizing questions. When they disagree, the game begins. Each advocate must argue their side, but here's the devilish twist. They must argue for the side they did not select. Let the depravity commence.
Welcome to Devil's Advocate. Today is a very special episode. We've got Ryan and Ron on with us. Ryan Makris, Ron Latz. I should probably give last names too. These guys are going to be the battle of the R's. So we've got good questions laid out. Marketing-centric episode. Probably better for us as moderators.
I mean, usually we've got attorneys on here, so now with marketing folks, we're going to see how they get to construct their arguments.
I feel like you and I are going to have much more different opinions too.
Probably so.
Okay. All right. Let me spin the wheel. Okay. And we are on other legal, starting off topic. These are going to be questions that are not directly related to legal, but are legal tangential, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Number one, sex work should be legal. Yes or no?
I'll take yes. It should be legal.
Now I just have to say no?
Well, if you want to argue.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Next question.
This is no game?
This is no game because we're both going to say no.
Number two, should marijuana be legalized nationwide?
Yes.
I mean, I'll have fun with that one. I'll say no.
I mean, look, my argument basically just breaks down to, why are drugs illegal to begin with? It's because it's for the greater good of society, right? So, yeah, people should be able to do what they want generally within reason, but there are certain things that are just bad for society overall. We made a decision a long time ago that heroin is bad for society. We don't want a bunch of people doped up. We made a decision a long time ago that cocaine, it's bad if we get the entire country addicted to cocaine. You can go on down the list. Now, look, is marijuana as bad as those other drugs? Yes, it totally is, and it should not be legalized nationwide. That's my argument.
All right, Ryan, you are in Colorado, aren't you?
Oregon.
Oh, man. All right. Well, either way, if you were in Colorado, they would be very disappointed in that stance, given how it is decriminalized, as well as many other states. Listen, I think if we are to shun people
Ron sounds like a lawyer
and smoking a joint and not do the same for someone going to a happy hour to enjoy.
When people say listen, I automatically listen.
He's got a good.
I also think there's enough people that have been incarcerated over selling a silly plant that we should free up all this space in all these jails for these minor infractions where people are just trying to enjoy themselves a little bit, just as they would with a drink. Regardless of how the drug is classified, putting it into the same arena as cocaine and heroin is misguided at best. So I think that everyone should be able to enjoy themselves a little bit, roll up some flower, and smoke a joint at the end of the day if they'd like to.
Look, Ron, you talked about alcohol. Look, we can barely handle alcohol. And great idea. Let's fully legalize a drug that makes people stare at a bag of Cheetos or Doritos like they're trying to solve a math equation. That's good for our country, for sure.
I would rather be eating bags of Doritos than crashing into cars and killing people.
Oh, I'm not arguing for alcohol. No, I'm not making that argument at all. I think maybe alcohol should be illegal too. Huh? I think all of these things should be illegal. I mean, have you ever talked to a guy who's been high all day? Right? It's like trying to have a conversation with a goldfish, right? Wait, what were you talking about? Oh yeah, pizza, dude. All right.
Right.
Oh, but it's harmless, right? It's harmless, yeah. So is a couch. A couch is harmless, but if you sit on it all day, you turn into a useless blob with a Netflix subscription, zero ambition. That's the same thing that marijuana does. People already suck at being productive, right? And you think making laziness legal in all 50 states is going to help? Right? The DMV takes 4 hours to process a form, and that's while they're sober, right? You gave them all of them marijuana, they're going to be like the those animals from Zootopia, right? Working at the DMV. It's going to be terrible for our country.
With any of these substances that are abused, you're going to run into people that are lazy, unmotivated, and don't get their shit done. So I don't think that there's a difference between someone that is either drinking too much or smoking too much, as long as they can find some level of moderation and allow the people to make that decision. They know what's too much, what's not enough, and if they get into some trouble, they've got to have a support system around them to let them know that they're falling off the track. And if not, I think that people should be able to make up their own mind and know what is good for them.
I moved 3
you're
times.
making the argument that like alcohol,
maybe that says something
alcohol
about
is
me.
terrible.
I just
Alcohol's
haven't
even
seen a
worse
compelling
than marijuana.
argument
So that should
on
be
either
illegal
side
for
for this
sure.
one.
I don't
I
think
think
that
they
has
both
any
make good-
impact
good
on the
points.
argument that marijuana shouldn't be illegal, right? And look, it's not just making people lazy. Have you ever seen a guy on weed like panic over nothing? All right, is this the future you want? The whole nation of people, right, staring at their phone thinking, oh my gosh, did I just text that? Or did I imagine it? Freaking out? I don't think so.
If they get anxiety or paranoid from smoking, then they know that it's not for them and they can go back to doing whatever it was that they were doing.
I'm going to
Right,
cut it off. I think you guys made great points. But let's get off pot, you potheads. We're going to move on to the next question.
Well, what happened there? We don't know who got the gavel?
Well, we both landed on the fence.
Yeah.
I switched
on
sides
the
twice.
fence.
Andrew just never moved.
Yeah,
and I think that's laziness,
I didn't
to
feel,
be honest.
I didn't feel like a strong, swaying to one side or the other for this one.
Business.
All right.
Ready. AI can handle the entire pre-lit process for simple personal injury matters.
Yes.
Yes.
The Arizona abs exception is a good thing for the legal industry. ABS, sorry.
All right, I'll
I
go
would
just since
take-
Ron's taking a moment. Yes, it's a good thing for the legal industry. I'll take that.
Sure, I'll take the other side.
Okay, look, the legal industry is one of the last remaining areas where you have to be a professional and your incentives are completely aligned with the client. Now look at all of these other industries which have had outside money come into them, and a few things happen. Consolidation, big corporatism, but underlying all of that, greed and seeking out profit. That is not what we want.
You don't want to be on the side of
in
greed?
the legal industry. It's not good for
You're
anyone,
anti-greed.
least of all clients.
Are you a communist? I'm going to go immediately to Ron.
I think there are many areas in which this would allow an increased access to legal services in markets where predominantly they may not have been able to afford them before. It's not a hill that I'm willing to die on here. I still think that there is a lot of consolidation that is coming down legal's pike here, but allowing outside money to fund things specifically that are going to improve the client's experience, like access to portals, online scheduling, increased online payment, all these other things that can be accelerated to improve the productivity and efficiency of a lawyer, because they don't necessarily have as much outside capital as they would like to run their firms more profitably. I do think that it would be incredibly helpful. There's also firms like our last topic we talked about, like how drinking could be bad for you, right? The legal industry is run rampant with a lot of alcoholism, and they are unable to cope with a lot of the things that are going on right now. And I think getting additional funds that would also help alleviate some of these stresses financially could be a benefit to them, Ryan.
So now we'll go at it, okay? Your argument is that it's going to help people. It's going to help things overall to have lots of outside money coming in, which is really what this is about, right? So the Arizona ABS exception is about
Both sides, I'm saying that it'll help. Client and
non-lawyers are able to own a percentage, an equity position in law firms. Okay, so let's just let anybody run a law firm now. All right, wait until the day when McDonald's gets into the legal industry, right, and gets into doing divorces. Would you like full custody with your Big Mac? Right, that'll be the day. Right, you know who really thinks letting corporations own portions of law firms is going to help clients? Corporations do. All right, because the one thing missing from the legal industry is more corporate greed.
Yeah,
that makes
I think Ryan kind of swept the board with this.
Yeah, let's see
with this
what's Ron saying.
the non-attorney is not the majority owner of the business. And many times these individuals are just responsible for a lot of the business operations. I would think someone that is running a business geared to help and serve the legal community would eventually want to put themselves in a position to possibly support some of their clients in a much outsized fashion to make sure that there is even more alignment. Imagine if VDM was able to invest and own a law firm and have the accountability to produce those results and get a bigger piece of those settlements and verdicts.
Gus as marketers would be more inclined to build volume shops, which aren't exactly known for client
Okay,
service.
look, that's like saying that OpenAI it functions like a nonprofit. You know who owns OpenAI? Microsoft. That's who they answer to. You know who the lawyer is going to answer to? Hedge funds, right? That'll be the day. The lawyers really want to answer to some MBA who doesn't practice law, who thinks justice is just a single line item on a spreadsheet, right? That's going to go well. All right. Oh, but it'll increase access to legal services, like how privatized healthcare increased access to affordable doctors. No, I mean, I don't think that's going to be working out for you there, bud.
Okay, that's it. That's time. That was very good. I'm sorry. I'm taking me forever to bed. I'm old. But yeah, you guys made some I really like justice as a line item on the spreadsheet. That's
good one, man.
Yeah, that's a pretty good soundbite.
Good one.
So I think Andrew and I landed on Team Ryan for that one. Maybe we should.
I mean, that was tough because I don't agree with anything I just said.
Well, that's the point. Oatmeal is one of the best foods you can eat.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
What?
Oh,
that was I can't believe you guys landed on both yes for that. Can you separate the musician or the artist from the art?
Similar to your first one. Don't agree, but I'll take it.
Okay, I'll lay out my argument first.
So to clarify, you're an R. Kelly fan for this.
They both answered oatmeal is one of their favorite foods.
Oatmeal's disgusting.
People should have no problem listening to Kanye West's music, even though he is basically a Nazi. You know, he's come out like a neo-Nazi.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you're making my argument for me.
Okay, look, you've got to be able to separate the singer and the song, right? Name a music artist who has a squeaky clean background and is a model of, of
You can't listen to musicians because they're bad people. You would have nothing to listen to in Spotify.
Can you read
famous
Hitler's
books?
books?
That over the years. So, look, if you're going to be digging into people's personal lives and really caring about the things that these people do in their personal lives, outside of their music, you're never going to listen to any music at all. That'd be impossible.
Right. We're not talking about drug usage or allowing someone to watch our children that, might smoke or drink. We're talking about pedophiles. We're talking about people that abuse young children and girls or boys and bring them into their home. You're going to advocate for someone that is blatantly showing Nazi tendencies as well as other individuals. I mean, we can go down. Listen, you can celebrate the entire catalog, right? Go down the list. R. Kelly, Michael Jackson. If you want to celebrate those people's actions and their doings, by all means, I think I can find plenty of other artists and musicians that, maybe they partied a little bit too hard, but they just let us have a good old time at some parties and sing and dance and let us let loose a little.
Look, I'm just going to concede this one to Ron. Because look, I'm this is a podcast. People are I'm not going to sit here and defend. I mean, what is it? It came out last week. His entire clothing store online, he now just sells a shirt with a swastika on. But I'm not going to defend that.
Ryan, I'm going to point out that from the start,
that.
when you said that you were team, you had to defend neo-Nazi and you didn't want to, Andrew immediately went to your side. So, he didn't go back until you conceded.
I think
then
it's
it was
a really easy argument.
hesitant.
If you had to remove artists because they're not great people, you would have nothing to listen to.
There are levels, yes.
There's levels.
I don't think it matters.
Andrew also tried to make the point that Mein Kampf should be part of the school curriculum. So,
No, I didn't.
mean, legal marketing, number 1. It's okay to run Google ads on a competitor name.
I'm arguing that it's not okay. There are many forms of advertising that are kind of just attacks on the system. All right, look, if you go back to before the late 1970s, lawyers weren't even permitted to advertise at all. And you know what? Claimants still found their way to a lawyer. Imagine that. And then advertising became legal, and all of a sudden, lawyers had to pay money to the yellow pages just to get their name out there. Same number of claimants finding their ways to law firms. But now, all of a sudden, the law firms have to pay a bunch of money to be featured in the yellow pages, because that was the only way now to get in touch with claimants. And you trend forecast that out to where we are today, and now you have to pay money to Google to bid on your own name because they allow other people to do it. It's just a tax on the whole system, and it doesn't make sense.
I heard taxes. I agree they don't make sense.
a competitive environment and you have a firm that's out there that's heavily invested in out-of-home, billboard, radio, TV, bus wrap, and you want to try to dam some of that demand and siphon it because that's where you see an opportunity. As long as it's not against the bar regulations and guidelines, I don't see what's the difference.
He should have leaned in heavily to the people that sign up unknowingly to the wrong firms.
He might still.
If you want to put the squeeze on the big advertisers, the big spenders, because they've got these massive monthly budgets for non-branded, but they've left a gap open for you to capitalize on their brand without being misleading, without telling them that you're their firm. You've got to keep that all above board. I'm not saying to pretend that you're that lawyer, but otherwise, if you want to show them the difference and why you're a better choice than this massive advertiser, and it's allowed, it's well within the rules, game on.
Okay, look, you build a business, you bust your ass for years, and finally you get some brand recognition, and then bam, some dude pays Google to cut in line, right? Like a fast pass at Disneyland. Imagine opening a pizza shop, and every time someone walks in, a dude in a Domino's suit jumps out of the bushes like, hey, are you sure that you want to go in there? I've got you over here for $7.99. That is conquest ads. And let's be real, Google, they love this stuff. Oh no, someone's bidding on your name. Oh, I guess you better start running defensive ads with us and pay us even more money, right? It's literally extortion. It's like some mobster going like, hey, nice little brand you got there. It'd be a shame if someone were to run an ad on it.
I think that other firm can then take the opportunity to squish the other firm that's attempting to bid on their name, jack the costs up for them so it's not affordable, and tell them who owns what market. If they want to be the king of the castle and someone's coming after their turf, you've got to protect it. And that's just the nature of the beast when you're the number one game in town. I'm not telling them to pop out of a bush and make statements that might make them believe they are the other firm. But if they feel like they've got a differentiating value.
It's like you're building a castle, but all the land is Google's.
It's a land lease.
Yeah.
To get this business, if they're just trying to keep their shingle hung and they find an opportunity on it, I think it's well within the game.
Okay, look, popping out of the bushes, that's a perfect example. Because look, if this happened in real life, people would be throwing fists. All right, imagine walking into a Nike store and a guy from an Adidas.
This happens in tech all the time. HubSpot versus Salesforce, Copper versus whatever. Like, it's just a different tool, a different system. You've got to make sure then you've got the right marketing people behind the wheel. If you're
I agree with him.
someone
It's part of the game.
You might have to look at another marketing agency if they can't help you combat this.
Okay,
It's
look,
not
Google
good.
Ads, conquest campaigns, it's just corporate pickpocketing. I already own my name. Why the hell should I have to pay to keep it?
Great points. And Andrew and I split on this one. You guys each got a gavel. Okay, let's do the game. The game is you're coming up with a new metal band and you need to name the band and name the members. What's the name of the band and the members?
Up in Arms.
Do you have member names?
Ron, Bob, Pat, Carmen, Tone,
Carmen. Oh,
and Rich.
okay. Sounds diverse.
Let's go with, I don't know, man, Bloodforge.
Nice.
That was like I feel like that was like ChatGPT would give me that answer. Were you ChatGPTing while we were talking?
Of course not.
Yeah, so good. Okay, guys, thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the next Devil's Advocate.
This was fun.
It was fun, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Devil's Advocate. Who do you think the winner was? Make sure to leave a comment to let us know. DM us for any ghoulish topics you think we should dare to debate. We'll catch you in the next one.